Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So on today's figure review, we're going to be taking a look at the third form of Godzilla in Godzilla Singular Point. And here of the third form, we have Godzilla Terrestris. I believe that's how that's pronounced, but I'm sure if I'm wrong on that, it'll be in the title of the video anyway. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a closer look of the figure. So, as you can see, alright, let's go ahead and take a close-up look of the figure. So, as you can see here, he has some resemblance to another familiar kaiju from the Godzilla franchise, and that being Gorosaurus. As I'm sure with the other forms, they're similar to also other previous kaiju from the Godzilla franchise. And it's like if you were to take Gorosaurus and combined it with Godzilla, here you have Godzilla Terrestris. And as far as with what parts of this figure of the body movement it possesses, so here we have these big legs here that can move all the way around both sides, and of course his very large but also small facing down T-Rex like arms. They can move all the way around. As far as the tail goes, it looks like it has a seam right there. And it does appear that they have glued the tail to the body. So I'm sure that, like I've said before, that I feel, in my opinion, that whenever they glue parts to the figure, it's probably for good reason. So if a certain body part of the figure tends to be much looser than, say, the legs or the arm or even the head, I feel like probably the tail is probably a common place on a figure where it'll probably be just loose. And also right here there's like another seam right here to where you could probably move the tail to like up to here. And then there's another portion to where it seems the tail is also put together with as well. Right there. I don't know if the camera can pick up all on the seam, but pretty much where this whole portion of where here it's painted and then it stops. And then after that, to where you know where the seams are at of where it could possibly have had some movement in the tail if it wasn't glued. Now, as far as the head goes, it starts to look like it's taking shape into almost looking like Godzilla. But, of course, it's just, I would say, a unique appearance at this stage in Godzilla's evolution throughout the process of him evolving in Godzilla Singular Point. As far as the colorization goes on this figure, he has, I'd say, like a red-orange, dark red-orange on his mouth, and then following along at the side here, and then it stops. It's going to be the same thing on this side, following along all the way back to the top of the head, while covered in a very light tannish color right here, and also following at the back here, but unfortunately stopping there, as the paint job on that was not really finished, and traveling all the way down to the tip of the tail. And the same would go for the dorsal plates here, that we all know dorsal plates like these are recognizable to be Godzilla related. And of course here they're still forming here at the very end before this part and the painted portion of the dorsal plates, as this is all still dorsal plates, smaller ones, but not painted. And as far as the colorization here on the dorsal plates, they're like a silver color. And then here, close up of the face, it does got some eyebrows going on of a dark gray color. And then with the eyes, like a very mustard yellow in the eyes. As far as underneath, a grayish color following underneath at the very bottom of the tip of the tail, going all the way to a triangular formation underneath the jaw. And the claws are also a tan color, similar to the colors right here, and a little bit right here at the top of his head, of the spikes coming up, as well as with the teeth. And with the feel of the figure, just feeling it and the appearance of it, as far as in this stage of Godzilla's evolution, here on the figure, you definitely feel it's all here at the bottom, all smooth, and then here on the blue portion of the figure, a lot of bumps to reflect that scaly essence of Godzilla, since he's part of that reptilian family, so to speak. But yeah, that's pretty much Godzilla Terrestris. And so now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and compare this figure and size them up with other figures from Godzilla Singular. Alright, and first up here, we got the Godzilla Terrestris figure next to the Singular Point Jet Jaguar. And here we got a side by side. So definitely Jaguar is a little bit taller, but as far as lengthwise, Godzilla Terrestris is much longer. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Alright, and here we got some competition here as far as the length goes to compare. So here we got Godzilla Terrestris with the singular point Anguirus. And yep, they definitely would, I would say, could definitely see if it happened in the animated series, but unfortunately it did not. But as far as with these two figures together, definitely see them sizing up each other well, toe to toe. Now, as far as the length, with these two figures, they're, I would say, almost at the same length. But I'm sure if the tails were straightened out or flattened out, that I think that the Godzilla Terrestris figure would overall be the longer figure between the two. But they definitely have that, I'd say, kind of that bulkiness, as like Anguirus is like, Anguirus is much more of a bulkier Anguirus in this latest incarnation of Anguirus, and then with this third form, he's starting to take a little bit more shape into being almost the final form of Godzilla. But let's see who we got next. Okay, and as shown previously in last week's video, here we have to compare is the singular point Manda, and definitely Manda is here, as far as height goes, the shorter figure. But let's check out on the length between these two. So just so you guys have a general idea, that pretty much with the majority of the singular point Bandai Japan Movie Monster Series vinyl figures, that they're all pretty lengthy, except for with the Jaguar figure. Well, considering that the only thing with Jaguar is that he has longer arms, but with all the other figures, they're pretty, like I said, lengthy. And for Manda, well, you'd figure that, of course, he would be, as a figure, long. And with the third form of Godzilla, that, again, like I said, if the tail was flattened out more, I'm sure they'd both be either close enough to be the same length, or maybe this third form of Godzilla would probably be just a little bit longer. But still, definitely pretty cool to see the difference here between these two figures. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Alright, Fiercezilla Jr., what are your final thoughts on the Godzilla Terrestris figure from the animated series Godzilla Singular Point? Yeah, I know it's okay. Yes, I know it's not Gorosaurus or Godzilla yet, but just just give it time to see what'll happen next. And plus, like you've seen throughout what's been happening to like the first form and the second form, and here we have the third form. What do you think the ultimate form will look like next, Fiercezilla Jr.?